Today, let's drift a little bit and talk about entrepreneurship. But then, from this perspective, how to grow your business. It is just at the start of the year, majority of you might have really said that one of your biggest missions this year was to start your small business. And any other entrepreneur, the bigger question is, how then do I grow my business? And in a country where 80% of employment falls within the MSME sector, then you are at the right place. But let me give you some numbers here. It is estimated that in this country, 90% of MSMEs never see their second birthday. So you start, run it within the year. So probably in 2024, you'll be saying, this is not the place. But then the question is then, how are you going to be out of those statistics? And who better to have in the studio to talk to you about that? And we're going to look at it from the major challenges that have been highlighted by different state agencies and international agencies as the bigger effects of small businesses. Joining us then to dig deeper into that conversation is Edgar Andagalu, who's the CEO, Vifa Consult. Mr. Andagalu, how are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fantastic. I can't complain. Let me start from a very basic point. I know you talk to business people, you talk to entrepreneurs, you evaluate their ideas and the businesses. That's what your company does. The most interesting question is, can any other person be an entrepreneur? Or you're either born an entrepreneur or you can learn entrepreneurship? Which one is that?
You can learn entrepreneurship. And you know, the fact that you are able to perform specific duties in your workplace, even as an employee, it means you've got a certain skill set with you. There are certain things that you know. There are certain things that enable you to perform at your workplace. You may be a receptionist, okay, in your workplace. And you know, you've got that skill set of engaging with people, which then you can easily morph at some point. You can have a call center for yourself.
I see.
So there's the notion that people say that, you know, that those who are born with business, you know, as business people, that those who are cut out to run businesses and those who are cut out not to do business. It's not that. It is about your personality. Do you have what it takes to ride the tide? Because, you know, getting into entrepreneurship is, I wouldn't say it's an easy thing to do. Challenges do come up. Your business could be able, you know, the circumstances of your business could change. The environment could change.
Yes.
And it's your ability to then, you know, ride that tide, the ability to flip your business, the ability to survive. Those shake-up. That's what you know, separates businessmen from others. I remember there was one guy, you know, who told me he used to work for General Electric, and he told me one fundamental thing that I've held on for many years, almost 30 years now. And he said, you know, so the question was, you know, what's the objective of a business? And I said, you know, to make a profit. I said, no. A business exists to survive. If you survive into the new year, and you keep doing that, then you've met your objective.
Hold on. A business exists to survive.
To survive.
Fundamentally.
Fundamentally. The fact that you can, you know, you've gone through 2020, 2021, 2022, you know, the profit is a bonus. But the fact that you're still there, then you've met your basic.
That's the objective.
That's the basic objective.
A very important point for us then to get into this conversation with. For anybody listening to you this morning, and they've introduced you as the CEO, Vifa Consult. Who are you? What do you do in this line of helping businesses grow?
So we focus on capacity building, providing technical assistance, technical being looking at the nitty-gritty of what you're doing, having a critical look at saying, how have you organized your business?
Yes.
How are your operations structured? What is your business about? What is your business model, your financial model? What kind of markets are you pursuing? Is it sustainable? There are those who seek to raise capital for their business, so we help them through the motions to make them, investor ready.
Yes.
And then using also some of the interactions that we have, we've got then access to some of the investors, so we can do some kind of linkages. Some of our programs also have got to do with training, and we collaborate a lot with some of the development partners and some government agencies also, to be able to deliver that kind of development packages for MSMEs. So our focus is really on MSME. We don't do work with the larger corporate multinationals. We are 100% focused on MSMEs. Apart from that, we've been also doing our own advocacy work. So where there are things to do with policies that are put out there, when the government releases new laws, new policies that touch on micro businesses, then we also lend a voice to that, give our views, or advocate for certain positions. We also put out opinion pieces around them. So we work with small businesses and people who want to work with small businesses. Yes. And then also we advocate for an environment that is conducive for the small businesses.
Pretty much. Now, I also got to tell you what somebody told me some time back.
Yeah.
I was speaking to one individual from KRA.
Yes.
Was I see, when people talk about the MSME sector and small businesses, number one, you can't explicitly define what a small business is in this country. Number one, because then majority of what we call small businesses are
Yes.
micro small businesses.
Yeah.
It's either they are completely out of the purview of KRA because they are not essentially under the umbrella, or the way they run their businesses really hasn't been understood. To the point that if you go in today to KRA and ask them how many small businesses are there in this country, in this specific industries, they might not be able to give you an accurate number. Which then begs me to ask you this question: is that why from time to time we are talking about growing small businesses in this country, but then we do not know, number one, who they are and what their specific needs are?
Well, first thing, there's the MSE Act of 2012.
Yes.
That gives a clear definition of what a micro small enterprise is. And it's based on the number of employees, on the investment and your turnover.
Yes.
So a micro business, the turnover is $1 million and below Kenya shillings in the year. And then you move to small when your turnover is between the million and 5 million per year. So then you're classified as a small business. Then there's also, sorry, it's not $1 million, it's 10 million.
10 million.
And then 10 to 50 million.
Yes.
So anyone below, if you're making a turnover less than 10 million, you're a micro.
Micro.
If you're making between 10 to 50, you're small. 50 to, I think, 100, then you're medium. Then there are other factors like, the number of employees that you have, the level of investment, which again is about 10 million for micro, about 20 for medium. And then number of employees, if you're micro, it's under 10. So where normally it gets confusing is when people look at only one factor, where you say, it's the number of employees. So you may have five employees, but you're turning over 100 million.
Doesn't mean that you're not...
You're not a micro anymore. Yes. Because your turnover is pretty high. Yes. So there are those definitions
yes.
that exist. Where it's gray is really in the medium, what we call the medium-sized enterprise, it's not very explicit. The only place where it came, it was put down in policy was during the formation of the Biashara Fund. That's where they really defined it. The Companies Act itself also doesn't quite define. This is micro, small, or medium. It only talks about a small business based on the turnover, and so then you're not you're exempted from doing some kind of annual returns based on the Companies Act. But to your point, there is a very little information that has been aggregated about the number of businesses. This is because they are not actively followed up. I think the last time the government made any effort to do that was back in 2016.
Yes.
Through the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, where they did an MSME survey to just kind of find out what are the things that, how many there are, where are they, and what are they up to. But then the other thing is that if you go to the county side of things, each county issues business licenses. Not everyone may go for the business license, but the counties do issue business licenses. And they've got all manner of licenses, from an informal trader, a hawker is supposed actually to get a license,
yes,
all the way to now, a multinational operation. They get trade licenses from the county. So what this tells you is that information that is probably sitting at the county has not been consumed by other state agencies. So there's that, aspect of where, different agencies doing different things without them, coming to a point to say, can we aggregate the information that we have and work with it? So, and that is really where the challenge is in terms of trying to then come up with solutions that will benefit small businesses. The data is there, it's just scattered. Some of it might be, on files and pieces of paper. Some of it might be sitting with institutions that, for example, providing digital lending, or people who work with a certain subset of businesses. So there's some kind of information, but the effort to bring it together, that's what has been lacking. And so then that's why someone would say, we don't know how many small businesses are in the market. It's a fair point,
yes,
but I think it's something that can be resolved easily.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So now, when people start businesses, there's one question that will linger at the back of your mind. Even when you know the capital that you're supposed to actually have to start running your business,
yeah,
it is how to get your business investor ready, because as a business person, you really have to keep on looking for these funds
yes,
that are going to make your business survive. How do you approach this with smaller businesses? What does it mean to be investor ready?
So the thing is, it's not a small business and a big business. It's the principles are the same. That's the first thing. And here, what investors really look for is the core idea. What is it that you're offering the market, and how is it different from someone else? Okay, so I can come here and say, I've got a shop that sells unga and flour, unga, soda, and all these things. The next shop probably does the same thing. So for me to show value, I've got to differentiate myself from this other shop. What is so different and unique about my offering that no one else is able to do? And then, is it scalable? Is it a model that can grow? Is it a model that you can easily replicate in different parts of the country? And if possible, go into the region and, and expand and go on and on and on to become a global business. It is that, because the investor is coming in for one objective. They're coming, bring in money to make more money. So if you can demonstrate that you can be able to make me more money relatively quicker than using a traditional vehicle, like, I can put it in an account a savings account.
And then sit back and wait for my returns.
For my returns.
Yeah.
But if I can demonstrate that I can give you better returns quicker,
Yes.
because my idea is unique and it is meeting a problem, a significant problem in the market, then you're onto something. I'll give an example. If you look at something like, a hotel. Hotels have been there for a very long time, right? And they've all been using with agencies, travel agencies and all that. So they're there. But someone came up and said, hold on a minute. What I'm selling to you is the ability for you to book accommodation where you want at a rate that is good for you. And I've checked out this place. It's nice enough for you to go to. It's very cheap. These are the benefits that you get from getting into this place. And it's at the click of the button, I get all your reservations done, and I get in any part of the world, and you're good to go. So I don't need to know, Edgar Hotel. I don't need to know that in whether Edgar Hotel is available in Kisumu, in Dar es Salaam. No. You've given me a place to go. I'll check in. You'll show me what this place has got to do, has to offer for me, and I'll book and I'll move. Yes. So you've solved a problem for me.
Yes.
In being able to find accommodation in places that I don't know. Okay, and so it's a brilliant idea, and guys latch on it. You get funding. So that's the business of Airbnb, the business of Booking.com, and all that. Selling what is already there, accommodation. That's what they are selling. Okay, they don't have to own the hotel, but they are selling something that you really, really need, and they've packaged it in a way that is scalable, that they can be able to open up in many different markets. So that is what really matters when you're looking at your business idea, and it is some of the things that then will help you if indeed you want to really have a business that scale. Number one, define your problem. What is it that you're sorting in the market?
Yes.
And is it a significant problem? Can you measure it? Can you say indeed, without me, X number of people will suffer? Okay, in carrying out their daily lives. And then number two, the way you're sorting that problem, is it unique? Do you have a unique touch to it that you can put your signature to it to say, this is how the way I'm delivering this solution to the market is it's very unique, and by the time someone catches up with my business model, it will be probably 2-3 years down the line. And then the market is sizable. It's not just something that is local for my estate. It's something that I can do in the whole country. It's something that I can export to other countries. Then you become an interesting business to talk to.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much. But I've got a very interesting question again, and I just want to take a tiny breather so we come back.
Yeah.
We've got a very interesting question that, well, every time that I listen to people advise me how to start a business, they say, what is this unique idea? But then someone asked, what if my idea is not unique? What if I'm plugging into a Me Too business? Somebody said, guys, I can also open a hotel. Yes. I can also open a spare part business. Does that mean that once I go with this idea to the market, I am going to struggle to get financing because majority of people are going to tell me, but this idea already exists? Once we come back, that question that you asked, and I'm going to sample them as well so we can get to ask them together, the Me Too business. Does it mean that you're not also open for funding? Once we come back right here on the Morning Drift. Remember, today is Entrepreneurship Tuesday, where we're really talking about how to grow your business. We do have the CEO, Viva Consult, with us right here in the studio. Once we come back.
welcome to Tujenge Home. Your number one show when it comes to all things architecture, real estate, property development, interior design. You get it right here on Tujenge Home. When the food is ready.
You want to serve them?
Dinner is served. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
What's going on? Niko na rafiki yake Musa.
Adam.
Huyu msichana wa watu, wewe umempangia nini?
Nani?
Lazima tujue kwa jambo linalofuatia kwetu ni ndoa.
Nini?
Ndoa hii.
Doris, unaongea nini?
Pia, vile hii kazi ilivyo muhimu kwako wewe, hata mimi halikadhalika ni muhimu.
Sitoshe, kuna mtu hivi sasa anatafuta atakula nini leo.
Mama, nimesoma mama, nimehitimu mama, na vyeti vyote. Kwa nini naishi mashaa kweli?
Wewe si family hapa. Kuzaa si kama kwenda haja.
The man!
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution or a university and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookup TV and all our digital platforms. Call us today on 011 0430 158, 011 0430 158 or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
Usiwahi cheza na mboga yangu. Na unafuata nani? Usisikuone ukinifuata. Nimekwambia una shares kwa hii kuku. You got the roof, man.
Hebu kwanza rudi ndani ufresh hiyo chono, make sure umespray.
Juli, kwani wewe? Hii tumbo yako mimi najua inaweza ingiza kila kitu. Hata chuma nikishiaga nikupea, hata plastic najua utakula. Kwani leo kunaendaje? Kuna kitu sielewi.
Kabisa Mluya. Yaani umeamua kulala uchi.
Sasa kama hakuna ile nguo inanitosha, unataka nifanye aje?
Because you are fat.
Sasa ukiongelea mimi ati fat, na Julie tutasemaje?
Kuja.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Lookup TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. It is Entrepreneurship Tuesday right here on the Morning Drift. Be part and parcel of this by the hashtag is the Morning Drift, and I'll be sampling some of those questions and comments once we get to the tail end of our conversation this morning. We are still with the CEO, Vifa Consult. We are talking about growing your business. And a question that we were asking just before we went on a break is the Me Too business. Like you had, it was I don't have to have a very, very unique idea. I can plug into space. Does that mean that once I come up with my business plan on this particular area, I'm going to struggle to get funding?
So not necessarily. So it depends. Mm-hmm. So you can say you're doing a Me Too business because you have realized there's a significant market. Like for example, if I'm selling shoes, and my capacity is to do 20 pairs per day, yet the demand is 200 pairs per day. If someone does a Me Too business on shoes, they'll get market. Okay, but before I jump in with to copy the person who is existing, mm-hmm. I need to be aware of the market. Is it sizable? Is it growing? Is it the same? Otherwise, then what then happens with a lot of these Me Too approaches to businesses that you split a fixed market. So this guy is doing well because he was serving. There's this 200 customers in that, yes. that you're reaching. Now, I get into that space because you're seeing this guy is doing pretty well. He says 200 shoes per day. So you get in, yet, it's fixed. That market can only take in 200 shoes per day. So instead of getting 200, you each get 100 shoes. And so then, you don't get as much income as you thought you would. And someone else joins in and someone else joins in. And so then you become very, 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 very crowded. And it happened a lot, when mobile money, came to the fore, and you find that everyone was becoming an agent of mobile money. It was lucrative. But then as time went by, people started seeing, I want to be in a particular bus stop, mm-hmm. and everyone wants to be there. But you're serving a very defined market, which then you find now the income started reducing, and a lot of other businesses that clothes, you name it.
Yes.
That's where that is the pitfall of the Me Too. So if you do not know about the market that you're serving, and you just jump in because what you're seeing your neighbor doing, and it might be the neighbor's, hobby. And you're jumping in thinking it's a serious business. Yeah. So you need to do your homework,
yes,
so to speak. Now, when it comes to the funding side, you see now you still have to demonstrate growth. That's very key. So if I jump in and I say I'm doing shoes because this guy is pretty good in shoes, and yes. I go for funding, I have to demonstrate that the growth of that business, the growth potentials of that business. Maybe I can come up with a new model to say that I am doing shoes, guys are really doing shoes, but guess what? I need funding to be able to go online. Okay? Because I can tap then a bigger market than the guys that we are trying to trap here. So if I go online, this is how I'm going to grow. These are the growth potentials. So either way, I have got to do my homework and demonstrate that indeed it is not a unique idea per se. You're selling shoes, but how you're going to sell it is going to give you a bigger, market perspective. So that's why when we talk about when you want to demonstrate growth, it's just not the market. There's also a unique bit. The idea might not be unique, but how you do it might be unique. When guys started going online,
yes,
So that's where the uniqueness started coming up. So you find there's this one, the first guy that then said, you can order for food online. You make the order, everything, I price it for you, it will come, pack it, everything. So the uniqueness of it is not that you have food. It is your delivery, where you're saying now this will come within X period of time. Now here where people are now moving into, just instead of, because before you could call for a pizza, it gets delivered, but here now someone comes up and say the uniqueness of my idea is that you can actually track where that it's in the kitchen, it is being packaged, it is being delivered. So then it brings in some level of uniqueness to a common idea. So you have to check your market. That's it's a basic minimum. Is it growing? Is it shrinking? Is it stagnant? If it's growing, excellent. If it's stagnant, if it's shrinking,
yes,
it's a no-go zone. Number two, what differentiates you from the next guy? So assuming you and your neighbor meet the same investor, what will you tell the investor that will differentiate you from the neighbor? Because if you both sound the same, even as the investor, I'll think, okay, maybe not now, okay? But if you come and say, this is very different, and this is how you can leapfrog your competitors, this is how you're going to grow the business, this is how you're going to grow the market, then you become an interesting case to work with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Let's move to another bigger challenge that small businesses are struggling with.
Yes.
I get into a business, I've done my homework, and here I am running a business without managerial training.
Yes.
I'm now managing people, could be 5, could be 10, depending on where I am. But then as time goes by, you realize that as a business owner now, you need some sort of training to help you run your business. At Aviva Consult, how do you approach this issue where you run into businesses and you realize that the big challenge as to why you're not growing here is because you need some sort of training? What is this fundamental training that every other business owner now needs to think about before even saying, I want to run my business?
So what you say is it's actually it's been a huge challenge, because from the last survey that was done by the Bureau of Statistics, was that a lot of small business owners have not gone beyond primary education. A few made it to high school and dropped off at different stages until the very end. So granted, it is a fair challenge. Now, the basic that we say is that literacy is very key. Being able to read and write
at the basic level.
Yes. Okay. Because here you're going to be able to transact and convey transactions through written notes and things like that.
Yes.
There are, of course, stories of people who've made it big without, having gone, pretty far in school, and they exist. And these are guys who, generally it's what people call street smart. Okay, they know they've been in a particular trade for very long. They learned it either maybe through apprenticeship. Someone taught them the ropes. This is how it happens, and they've grown. And they've been very fortunate because probably they were in a business that was growing and had very high returns and things like that. But then as time goes by, you find as the market changes, you cannot do the same things the same way that you're taught years ago.
Indeed.
So in terms of training, one of the things that we've done is find programs. A lot of the colleges, a lot of the TVET institutions, even now even some of the universities do have very short course programs that bridge some specific gaps. So like with the number of clients that we've worked with, that there's a process that is we call a needs assessment, where we look at your entire business and say, look at how you're organized, look at the things that you know, the things that you're not sure about, then look within your team, because probably you've hired people, and there are people who fill in these gaps for you in your business. And then as they fill up those gaps, are you understanding what they are doing? You know, it might be very complex a very complex financial transaction. Are you getting the drift of it, of what your accounts people are doing? So there's that level of screening that we've done for a lot of the businesses. And then based on that, because we don't do training, you're not trainers, we can then point to programs that either we have partnerships with or we know that exist, and say, okay, there's this kind of program that exists, which then you can plug in and get all the, to help you now bridge those gaps. And those programs, a lot of them are not, structured like your typical academic session, where like when you enroll into university, then you've got these classes, exam. The aim is to make sure you get it. So it is almost tailored for you to be able to say, we have this program running.
Yes.
It's 6 months, 3 months. You're going to learn books. And that's it.
And that's it.
You're not going to have electives and all that. Yeah. You learn books to help you understand this to a certain stage. So those really, we found that those have been pretty effective.
Yes.
In bridging those gaps. But to your point, it is important for, even as people grow, want to grow their business, that they also expand their knowledge base, they expand what they understand, and not to shy away from asking for help when needed, and also hiring someone who then best complements your skill set within the business.
Pretty much.
Yes.
There's a question that accrues from that question that you're talking about there, and that's why I want to ask you a direct question now.
Yeah.
Small businesses, they are in a challenge, always in a race, to make more while cutting down their cost.
Yes.
So it's a question that is floated from time to time, in the sense, is it possible for me to overlook probably having an in-house accountant, an in-house law professional, and look to businesses like yours and then say, could you come in and plug in this space for me?
Yes.
While I do away with entirely having people in-house as I grow this particular business. From your experience in the market, which one is a better route for somebody who wants to grow their business? Is it develop this particular departments that you want within your smaller businesses and I have people to look over them, or this ones you could pick them out? Could you outsource? Which one is a better balance for smaller business?
So the balance is determined by your core business. I always say that if you're in your business, okay, you go back to the food.
Yes.
If your business is selling food, hire a chef. Make sure you're able to manage your procurement pretty well. You know where to find things. So that you need to hold close to your business. If you want to sell it online, I don't have to hire an IT department. Okay, I can outsource for a period, unless I've got the capacity to then say, it works better for me to have it in-house. You're better off outsourcing what is not core to your business, what is not. So you think about, what are you selling? Okay, if you're in a restaurant business, you're selling food, whether you're selling when people are seated, or you're selling online, or you're doing office delivery or catering, your business is food. Okay, so first build your capacity there. Make sure you're able to do that very well. Okay, without being distracted or having your costs going into formation of departments that are not core to your day-to-day running.
Yes.
And then, depending on the needs, because at times you can find that, yes, you've outsourced your accounts to someone to be doing your accounts, because really the load of work is that this guy or the HR guy only comes in, at the end of the month or twice a month. So at that level, then you see your interaction with that particular department is not that high. Mm-hmm. But then when you get to a spot where, yes, you've outsourced HR or accounts to someone, but this person has to come in daily, okay? Then you then look at your cost structure and say, is it cheaper to hire or to keep outsourcing? Because then the person is not coming in for free. There's a certain fee that you're paying. So then you can then do a comparison and say, if I hired someone, how many do I need to hire to do this? And what will it cost me to hire and retain that staff complement? Because there's your salaries, there's probably the benefits probably you need to push on, and then there are all these increments that come with it. So how many do you need to hire to get that job done?
Yes.
At the same pace? Because what you might not be seeing is that the person you've outsourced to do this job. So there's this one guy who comes, takes your receipts and all that and goes back with them. But he has got a whole machine behind him of people who are crunching those numbers and making sure you get the reports that you need. He probably has systems that are helping him do that job. So you need to be aware of that, even because it's not about hiring people, but then the machine that helps you now deliver that kind of bit. So maybe you may choose to then say there are basics that you can do. If you've got a system that is affordable to get that job done, and then over time see whether it makes sense. Because I've seen people who've recruited and then still gone back to outsourcing yes. Because then they realized that in as much as it looked like it's something that can be done by 3 guys, actually it's not. And, I need to buy accounting software, I need to buy, human resource planning software, I need to buy all this, and there are costs associated with it over and above the human beings that you have to also sort. So, so the rule of the thumb is then to look at what is your core business, how is it resourced? Do you need to invest into your core business first before recruiting, support teams?
Yes.
And then even as you outsource, if it gets to a point where you feel that you need to then retain some of these departments, the cost has to make sense compared to hiring. There's maybe some things that may be informed by, your trade secrets. So if, say, you one of the critical thing about your trade is you don't want your contracts to be seen by, so many people. Okay, or your contractual engagements, you want to keep them closed because they contain a lot of your trade secrets and things like that. Then you can then say, okay, I'll have one in-house counsel to be able to keep, my contracting close, yes. So that then it doesn't get, into third parties that then you do not know what would happen out there.
Yes.
So there might be such considerations. But in principle, for most small businesses, what I've seen is that what is not core to you, outsource.
Outsource,
yeah,
pretty much. Now, let me get to the last question that we found very synonymously appearing in majority of the confirmations that people were making. It's technology.
Yes.
That today, as a country, we understand that we are a third world nation. And tech and IT as well in general now
yes.
is competing and forming the core of running these businesses. Is that an aspect that you as VIFA now will look at it and say, even before you start this business, you got to consider how it's done now and the investments that you got to figure before you even say, let's start this business.
Yes.
How core is technology in the consultations that you do for smaller businesses?
Well, tech is definitely playing a bigger role, especially now that even you're now moving into, the AI space.
Yes.
Where you'll find this now technology out there that can do things, for you. I remember once going to one of these AI platforms, and I said, I am so-and-so and I need a speech for Madaraka Day. It wrote me a fantastic speech. I loved it.
Yeah, I tried that yesterday as well. I'm like,
yeah.
Why do I need to sit down for 1 hour?
So yes, there's a role that tech eventually will play in a lot of the businesses. Where we are right now as a country, though, is that we still, compared to the more developed nations, our use of tech is still, we're still at the basics of tech. And really, where we really use tech a lot is in terms of payments, moving cash from point A to point B. And then also we've got some records that we keep for the business. So if I pay you, that I'm able to know you've paid for X, Y, and Z. So that's where really most of our tech relies on, despite of, the route. I may give you a website, I tell you can download an app, do ABCD. But if you look at, strip all that fancifulness aside, what you're basically just doing is record keeping and payments. So it's pretty basic at the moment. Now, so for a lot of the businesses then, we still are in a space where the human interactions are still very key for a lot of the businesses that are coming in. So yes, the technology, as we use it today, is not a product. It is just a thing that helps you probably operate more efficiently. Okay, so that would be your biggest consideration. So still, you cannot run away from the fact that as you're opening your business, what is your business about? What are you selling? Who are you selling to? And what is different about you? That's the those fundamentals are still in play.
Yes.
Once you've answered that question, then you can ask yourself, can tech help me do any of these three things better? If you can point out and say tech can help me do ABCD better, then you can consider saying, I need to maybe now invest in technology. And you don't have to hire an IT team. You find a partner who can do that technology for you to grow it to a certain space, and then consider owning the technology once you've got, some momentum going. So if you take something like a matatu, okay, the business is to move you from point A to point B, okay? And the thing is, there are things that will attract you to it. Timeliness, cleanliness, nothing to do with technology at that point that will attract you to that matatu to say, yes, I prefer using this bus service because they always leave on time. They get me, they obey the rules, it's safe, it's clean, they've got this, maybe they show me a video show. So that is your core business. Then now, as the bus owner, then I ask myself, can technology help me serve you better? So the question might be, yes, maybe I help you book online. Then I can tell you, inform you the bus is on time, it's not on time. Then also in the back, to make sure the bus is on time, maybe I'm tracking where the bus is at a particular time, so then I can be able to plan my customers better. So that is tech helping you do your business. And like what I've seen with a lot of businesses where they believe the technology is the business. So someone is in a rush to go and say, I'm putting up an app, I need funding, I have got this app. So then I ask, okay, what's the business?
What is the business, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an app, it looks nice, but what's the business? What problem are you solving using this app? Who are your customers? What are they doing today? Because they have not died. So what are they doing today that you are going to sort out with a business that is behind the app? Because the app is a shop front. It's not the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, I just don't know how we ran out of 1 hour, because there was one particular. I gotta call you back, because we've just crashed the service. Because the other question that we got is, but just take 15 seconds just to intimate in the next conversation that we're gonna have. Just 15 seconds.
Okay.
Do you think now the legal environment around the MSME policy has matured enough to be pro small businesses? 15 seconds.
It is. What we need is continuity.
How's that?
Don't break it with every election cycle. Continuity. That's what we lack. But the policies are fantastic.
Yes, man. We'll be looking into that once you come back next time. I'm going to talk to my producer, you come back again. Guess what? We were speaking to the CEO, Vifa Consult, on how to grow your business. Biggest takeaway today, but you might take anything. But don't forget this, that the reason as to why you're creating your business is just to make sure it survives. If you survive today and you think you're going to go into business tomorrow, according to him, you're doing good. Keep doing it. Keep surviving. Well, right here on Look Up TV, my name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiag. It has been quite a productive Tuesday. We take a tiny breather, but I do promise it's going to come back again so we talk about the MSME policy in the country. What is good, what needs to be tweaked. See you next with Ian Keitani. Yo, thank you very much. 1 hour.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here